Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fragrant Bunker. Today we're going to do the top 5 perfumes for the month of September. I have created or prompted my AI with a lot of tweaking to generate this landscape today. It is summer. There's a little bit of green going on in the pastures, but we also have already fall slowly kicking in, as well as that particular shade of sun and light that I find so fascinating. In September, usually in the Northern Hemisphere, the so-called, maybe it's cultural appropriation, but for many, many decades it was called the Indian summer. Maybe it is not appropriate to call it that way anymore, but as a child growing up, that's what it was called when kind of into September, the days, yes, they do get shorter, but there's that beautiful, warm, gold, honey, brown light that really signals the end of summer and the beginning of fall. But it kind of sometimes extends itself even into October a little bit. But so my selection for this month is kind of that twilight, the end of summer, right? But that golden light is there with a bit of green still in the air. So first, subscribe to my channel before we get to the perfume selection. Push the join button next to the subscription button. Become a member today. Gain access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon. superdacob all spelled together there as well for extra perks. Thank you to my members and patrons who have already pledged. Thumb up this video if you're enjoying it. And let's kick it off with my Morning Beauty. And this one is just really, really, really interesting. Very summer, but also kind of very autumn. And it is, in fact, the first time ever that I will be experiencing this in autumn because it's just been released a very, very short while ago. But it is Chanel's Gabrielle L'Eau. As you can see, I have put quite a dent into this bottle already. It's a 100 ml bottle, but I am using it quite a bit. You know, something about this is so invigorating early in the morning. It really works for me. It's so well done. I am kind of shocked, for a flanker. Well, technically just a new concentration because this is the first time that we're getting an eau de toilette of Gabrielle. The berries in here with the green facet of the tuberose mixed with jasmine and a smidge of ylang ylang is just so beautiful. And it's the berries for me that create this kind of very, very warm late summer light that we see here. And in fact, Gabrielle L'Eau is a beautiful way to start the day for me. It's like breakfast. It's not gourmand by any means. It's just really delicious. It's a good energetic fragrance that has a little bit of that dustiness that we're used to from the first eau de parfum of Gabrielle, which I'm not really a big fan of. But if you kind of let it develop a little bit, it abandons that metallic-y aspect and it goes into just a beautiful, powdery, creamy, almost berry floral, white floral accord. It's really, really delicious. And now I think I have a hair on my lips. Sorry, you guys. And we took it off. Okay. Now, moving on to my number 2. Number 2 is leathery, but it's a very, very soft leather. And there's also heliotrope in there, and there's musk in there. And technically, heliotrope and musk, and you probably going to think, well, what was Dacob's obsession lately with heliotrope? It has to be Comète by Chanel, but it's not. Here's Comète just for reference. This one is beautiful heliotrope. But no, Comète is not on this list this month. There's another heliotrope with leather. Comète doesn't have a leather accord, but this other one does. And it's a very soft, suede leather. It's a very delicate, sophisticated leather. And there's a bit of violet in there as well. It's in the satchel, and the satchels, they are Hermès, and this is an Hermessence, and it is Cuir d'Ange. I have always with me, really, at least one or two of these 15 ml travel size spray bottles of the Eau de Toilette. Jean-Claude Elena is the nose behind, oh my gosh, behind this one. This one is so beautiful. 2014 is the year it was first released. Oh my God. Oh, this is so, you know what? It's this landscape, but like we're going high up into the mountains, and there's that breezy, powdery, opulent smell that Hermes, really, that only Hermes can deliver. Man, it's intense. I've had, I stocked up on these when it was first released. So I have quite a few of these little bottles still, and this is one of the older ones. This is batch four. What is this? I think 4I or 41. 4IBAP. I mean, we're talking 2015, 2016, maybe. I would have to double check the actual date for the batch code, but the suede accord is so smooth and velvety in this one. And then that heliotrope, it's exactly the Indian summer, the longer summer, when the sun kind of kicks in. And in fact, the color of the bottle is well, it's practically exactly this hue, between this hue and the lighter hue of the background. It's kind of, that's exactly what it gives, and that's exactly how it smells. This is the vibe. You're kind of running through these meadows, and then you just start kind of elevating yourself and flying. And cuir d'ange means leather of the angels, or angel leather. A little bit macabre, if you may, but because it's a little bit macabre, it's kind of also hinting at what's to come in October, which is Halloween. So, angel leather in September, and then who knows what in October. So this one is just perfect on so many different levels. And I've had a friend tell me once that her mother's Hermes Kelly bag always smells of cuir d'ange. It's almost as if this one references the smell of their bags, of their quota bags, at least. I mean, as we know, Hermes leather is amazing. So this one is just so beautiful and takes me places this month. I'm just very much feeling it, and it's a very romanticized type of smell as well. Now, the next one is the opposite of that. I want to say that dreamy, leathery accord is um, not present in this one. This one is a very metallic white floral, but I call it a chypre white floral, even though technically they don't call it a chypre, but to me it smells chypre-esque. Original formulation had a ton of oak moss in it. 1971, I believe, was the year it was released. I've written it down just to be double safe. Yes, Michel He, or Hi. 1971 sees the release of Yves Saint Laurent's Rive Gauche. Now, why am I saying that this is the opposite of Cuir d'Ange? That's because, well, this is, while Cuir d'Ange tries to give us an illusion of pure nature, like being one with nature, being beautifully in symphony, or in a symphony made by nature for you with nature in this landscape, even though it's AI generated. Well, we'll go. This one is kind of the opposite. This one is a synthetic white floral beauty. And I know I'm kind of layering these, but you know what? Who cares? Let's live. Might as well. If we're gonna do a special video like this, might as well do some special thing that you wouldn't normally do. I would not normally layer all of these perfumes, but sometimes really interesting combinations come through. Oh, matter of fact. Oh, it really works well with Cuir d'Ange. Rive Gauche and Cuir d'Ange. Wow. What an epiphany. That slightly salty gardenia, salty, oceany gardenia floral dusty vibe mixed with the dusty suede and the heliotrope and the musks of Cuir d'Ange, it just, oh man, they're so beautiful together. This is a 70s Bob. I mean, we're just exiting, the late 60s. So technically we have flower power, right? We have the hippie movement, but we also have space age. The late 60s were kind of the heyday of space age, and then entering into the early 70s with not so much Yves Saint Laurent. He was more into other movements. He was more for in the hippie movements aesthetically, really, um, just stylistically speaking. But if we're talking about space age, we're more thinking about Pierre Cardin's space age, Paco Rabanne's space age, or also Salvador Dali's presence, Salvador Dali's Inuit sunglasses made for Courrèges, Inuit inspired sunglasses, cultural appropriation. Yes, I know, but back in the day, it wasn't seen that way. Audrey Hepburn worn them as well. Um, and then we have Werner Panton, a Danish designer, interior designer, also furniture designer, creating space age modular furniture. And kind of this perfume really falls in between those two worlds, the flower power aesthetic and the space age aesthetic. And this one kind of rides that thin line between the two. And those are very, very different political movements. They're very, very different philosophical movements. They're also very different artistic as well as poetic movements, lifestyle movements, really, and it kind of blends in well in this time of the year where we are also drifting between two worlds, between summer and autumn. So something is ending and something else begins, but the beginning of autumn is actually the end of the year, it's kind of the sun has reached its peak and now the days are getting shorter, and the harvest season is upon us. And so, we start to collect our thoughts and gather all of the emotions and ideas and plans that we had for the year, and we're starting to slowly collect all of them and realize what, how much we have achieved and how much we haven't. What could we do to better ourselves, or what we have done very well, and pat ourselves on the shoulder and say, hey, you did good in this regard, so maybe you deserve a little treat, something special. And to me, perfumes, first of all, know no gender, but also they're considered luxury, and there's a special luxury tax on perfumes. But to me, they shouldn't really be a luxury. I mean, they embellish our lives. They're such a necessity to me. I oftentimes just sniff a perfume out of the bottle, just if I want to remember a little bit its smell and give myself a boost throughout the day while I'm at home for myself. Of course, I love to wear my perfumes, but also most of the time I spray them while I'm at home. Yes, I always wear perfume when I leave the house as well, but I spray a lot of the perfumes at home. And so they are something intimate. They're something for yourself. And all this to say what? When I said earlier, pat yourself on the shoulder if you've done something well, treat yourself to a perfume. But then I thought to myself as I said it, no, you don't need to treat yourself to a perfume. I mean, a perfume should be there for you all the time, not just as a special treat. It should be that you should be, entitled to. I think there should be a law to allow us to have free perfumes, because they really make at least my life so much better. And this one is so beautiful for that particular thought process of slithering between two seasons and two completely different approaches to just living, Mm. In summer, I mean, you have like what, 5 or 4 hours of night and the rest is all daytime. Now, slowly, the days are getting shorter and shorter. Before you know it, we're going to have the equinox, right? And then where the night and day are the same length, and then slowly night will get longer and longer and longer. And then we have the Game of Thrones moment, winter is coming. Love Rive Gauche, it makes me go all those places. In fact, the blue and silver and black color also kind of are telling us, hey, cold light is coming very, very soon. But the next one is not cold at all. It's actually very warm, and there's somewhere in this landscape, and I do believe it's here, hiding in this forest, maybe even more far away. You know what? Maybe it's even back there, and we don't really see it. Back here where it's almost invisible. It's as if something was burning and the smoke blends in with the distance of the landscape. And in that distance of the landscape, we have a memory of a smell of something that was in the middle of the forest, forgotten so, so far away that not even our ancestors maybe remember. But if we go that far, penetrate that forest so deep, we might just stumble upon the ruins of what once was an incredible mansion, a powerful place full of energy, memory, wisdom, opulence, and now it's a burnt down relic. And that would be Au Noir by Christian Dior, by Francis Courjean. This is a 2004 release, but and I do love the green cologne. I also love the green eau de parfum, but this is a 2023 re-release without the green color, as requested by Francis himself. He wanted to take the colors out of it. Oh well. Let's layer it. Wow, this is going to be intense. Whew. Licorice, immortelle, incense in the base notes, fennel, McGriddle, burnt woods, the depth of the forest, opulent baroque perfume. This thing is incredible. I mean, I've heard rumors that they're going to discontinue it. Yet again, my heart aches because this is a masterpiece. Au Noir. It is sublime this time of year. This perfume gives you memory. It's like when you spray it on, it immediately evokes memory, and you don't even know of what. But then as it dries down, you get into those burnt woods, and it takes you on a journey towards something in the middle of the forest. By the way, I've reviewed all of these fragrances on my channel, so you can go check out their individual reviews as well as just watching my top list right now. But Au Noir, I have reviewed it in all of its iterations: the Cologne version, the green eau de parfum version, and now the yellow golden eau de parfum version as well. And what I find interesting, I'm not going to compare all of the iterations in this video because you can watch my reviews for that. But here I would like to talk about this one in particular, the golden one that you can purchase nowadays still. And it's as if it took you there and you're standing in the middle of these ruins that have, this burnt up mansion or whatever it is, burial ground or monastery of sorts, or we don't really know what this building is in the middle of the forest. But all of a sudden, when we spray this perfume, it's as if in our memory, we get to visualize how that building looked like when it was there, even though we never saw it standing, even though it has been gone for centuries. All of a sudden, it reappears in our memory because this perfume tells a story of that particular special sacred place. And you just stand there in silence and you listen to the breeze of the forest, of the trees, of the woods, and everything is just so peaceful and nostalgic. It's the end of something because we see that this building has been torn down, burnt to a crisp, and vegetation is growing around it, but at its core, nothing grows. Even though it's maybe been hundreds of years since it's burned down, still, for whatever reason, the energy where that building, mansion, place was built is so powerful that nothing grows in that particular spot. All around it, vegetation is booming. But in that particular center, and when you step in that center where there's no vegetation, there's complete silence. All around you, the trees are moving and there might be a breeze, but once you step into that circle, there's no noise whatsoever. And just memory flows through your body. That's how intense this thing is. And I love reminiscing and tapping myself into that memory wearing this in September. It's just gorgeous. Thumb up this video if you're enjoying it. Subscribe. It means the world to me. Let's try to get this channel to grow as much as possible. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. It means the world to me. And thank you for all the new people who have come to my Essentially Dacob fragrance YouTube channel because I see a lot of new faces and new names in the comments down below, and it's really very, very special to me. So thank you guys so much. And the comments are always very beautiful. Everybody's very thoughtful in the comment section. So thank you so much. My number 5 is this is the frame for this entire landscape, really. I mean, all of this, we realize, yes, there are a lot of mountains. This is a very big landscape. I'm very well aware of this, but it is also an enormous island. We are on an island. September is just 1 month. It's just one island. And the forests of that island smell of a very, very special story. And that would be the story of Bois des Îles, Chanel's Bois des Îles. Now, whether it be the extrait, the eau de toilette, or the eau de parfum, I have here the eau de parfum. Oh my gosh, the sandalwood in here, the aldehydes, the fruity opening that then goes deep and woodsy and milky, delicate, but opulent at the same time. 1926 creation by Ernest Beau. So now we're traveling back in time into the 20s. You should go check out my review of Bois des Îles in its variety, because I have several videos dedicated to Bois des Îles, whether it be the eau de toilette, the parfum, the old formula of the parfum, and the eau de parfum. I adore it. This one is kind of one of my favorites in around about February, but this year in September, I was longing that particular sandalwood accord that just kind of, it's a special type of sandalwood accord in here that really makes you travel in time to a far, far away island with a lot of woods and forests. And we don't really know, what is this? Is it Europe? Is it somewhere in Africa? Could be anywhere. Is it Australia? I mean, the vegetation could be European, could be American, but there's also, I mean, it's AI generated, so there's a lot of vegetation here that also would grow elsewhere as well. So we are maybe on another planet. All of a sudden we realize, oh, okay. We are not just ready for a shift in seasons, but we are also ready for a transformation and a big journey ahead. And Bois des Îles always makes me feel like I'm traveling somewhere. Bois des Îles always makes me, sometimes perfumes, like for example, Guerlain perfumes, they make you dream of traveling to places. Like they make you long for, I want to go somewhere, and it smells of faraway places, but typical for Guerlain, especially the 20s Guerlain fragrances, including Shalimar and L'Or Bleu in particular also. But Bois des Îles is a very strange how it smells, because it doesn't make you long. Partially, maybe it does make you long to travel to faraway places and back in time. But partially, it makes you arrive there. It's so powerful that it makes you literally not so much long for that time or that faraway place, but it makes you feel like you are there. You are literally there. That's the power of this perfume. It's not so much about the longing towards something, or, in philosophy, the German philosophers, the heavy ones, they call that Sehnsucht. This thing is not that. This thing is literally placing you in the middle of the past, of that island, maybe on another planet. So you're not longing for it to go towards it. You are already there. You realize you've always been there. It's all been inside of you. And that peace gives me goosebumps. That peace that I get when I acknowledge that, when I realize that, thanks to this perfume kind of unlocking that emotion inside of me. Oh man, that it's just the best feeling ever. Sometimes we're a little bit nostalgic as summer is ending. You don't want it to end. I mean, if you go to school because you don't want, you don't want to go back to school, or I don't know, people just prefer summer. It's more vital. Although I gotta say, in the past years, summer has become very hot, especially the northern hemisphere. So it's like you're kind of looking forward to it to be over because it's really, really intense hot and the heat just keeps growing and growing and growing. So, but if we are to go back in a time where summers were hot but not so unbearably hot, then, people were more kind of sad that the summer was over, summer holidays were over, and you got to go back to the city and start work again, go back to school again, and then, days get shorter, you get depressed. Well, this one helps you heal from that, and it really makes you happy to realize that just because summer is ending doesn't mean that something negative is happening. You know, uh, this actually is kind of telling you, oh, don't you worry, something better is yet to come. There's nothing better than a perfume that tells me that, in my humble opinion. What do you guys think? Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know your favorite perfumes for the month of September down below. And thumb up this video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel. And until next time, never forget to never give up on fragrant love. Love you loads. Take care. Bye.